Good day, everyone. Trust you're doing well today.
Today, we are talking about four Nigerian stocks that could build serious wealth before the end of 2026. Now, have you ever looked at someone who became wealthy from investing and wondered, how did they know what to buy? Because when most people, hear about a great investment, guess what? The biggest gain has already happened. The truth of the matter is, wealth in the stock market is usually built long before everybody starts, talking about it. And that's exactly what I want to show you today. It's actually not a get rich quick scheme and not a magic stock that will turn, 20,000 naira into 20 million overnight. Instead, we are going to look at four Nigeria companies that are positioned in some of the most important parts of the economy. And more importantly, we are going to answer one question. Now, if you wanted to build serious wealth from the Nigeria stock market, where should you be paying attention to right now? Let's jump right into it. Before we talk about these stocks, right, I want you to understand something very important. Many people think investing is just about finding the next big winner. But the people who consistently make money don't think that way at all. They think differently. They really ask what businesses will still be making more money 5 years from now, than they are making today. This is a complete different question because stock prices move up and down practically every day. But in the long run, the businesses that make more profits usually create more wealth for shareholders. So instead of chasing excitement, let's focus on businesses that solve real problems. And that brings us to the first stock. Number one, GTCO. Now think about this. Every day, millions of Nigerians transfer money. They save money, they pay bills, they receive salaries, they buy airtime, they run businesses. And every one of those activities creates opportunities for banks to make money. But not all banks are equal. Some banks spend a lot of money just to keep customers. Others are incredibly efficient. GTCO has built a reputation for being one of the most efficient banks in Nigeria. And that's very powerful advantage. Very, very powerful advantage. Because when a company can serve millions of customers while keeping costs under control, more of its revenue turns into profit. But here's the part many investors love. GTCO has a strong history of paying dividends. A dividend is simply a portion of a company profit paid directly to shareholders. Think about it. Imagine owning a small pieces of a business, right? The business makes money quite alright. Then it sends part of the profits, part of the money to you. That's basically what a dividend is. Now imagine you take that dividend and buy even more shares. Then those shares start generating dividend too. That is how wealth slowly compounds over time. Not overnight, but steadily. And sometimes steadily is exactly what creates the biggest results. Number two, Boa Foods. Now let me ask you about a simple question. No matter what happens in the economy, inflation or no inflation, what do people still have to do? It's simple, they have to eat. So whether the economy is booming or struggling, food remains one of the most basic human needs. And that is what makes Boa Food interesting. The company operates in products that millions of Nigerians consume regularly. Think of sugar, pasta, rice, and other food products. Now here is where it gets interesting. Nigerian population continue to grow, right? More people means more demand for food, and more demand can create more revenue for companies that are already producing at scale. Boa Foods has spent years expanding production capacity. Basically, they have been increasing their ability to produce and sell more products. That doesn't guarantee future profit, right? But then again, when you combine population growth with a company that already has strong position in the food market, you start seeing why investors pay attention. Food may not sound exciting, but many fortunes have been built from businesses that can be deemed essential to human needs, and food business is part of such business. Number three, Seplat Energy. Now let's talk about something many investors don't fully understand, and that is the power of earning in dollars. If you lived in Nigeria long enough, you have seen periods where the naira loses value. And when that happens, some companies struggle. But companies that earn significant revenue in dollars often have an advantage. This is one reason investors watch Seplat. Seplat operates in the oil and gas sector, and a large part of what they sell is linked to the international market where transactions are largely dollar based. Think of it this way. If two people are standing in the rain, one has an umbrella and one doesn't. When the rain starts falling hard, right? Who is in a better position? Guess what? It's the person holding the umbrella. Now, for many investors, dollar earning acts like that umbrella. It doesn't remove every risk. Oil prices can go up, oil prices can go down. Production can face challenges, but companies with strong foreign currency earnings often have a layer of protection that many purely local businesses don't have. And that's why Seplat continues to attract attention. Number four, Aradel Holdings. Now, this one is especially interesting because sometimes major wealth is created with a big shift happening inside an industry. And that's exactly what we have seen in the Nigeria oil sector. For years, many assets were controlled by international companies, but over time, more opportunities have opened up for indigenous Nigeria operators. And Aradel has been one of the companies benefiting from that shift. What makes investors pay attention is not just the size of the assets, it's what those assets can produce over many years. If a company acquires productive oil assets and manages them efficiently, guess what? Then profit can grow significantly. Of course, there are risks. The energy sector is never completely predictable. But when investors look for companies with potential upside, RRD often enters the conversation. And that's why it has become one of the most watched stocks on the Nigerian stock market. Now, here's the mistake many people consistently make. They hear about four good companies that could potentially make them money. Then they will immediately ask which one will double my money fastest. Well, that's a mindset of a gambler investor. Because that is usually the wrong question to ask. A better question should be, how do I build a system that keeps investing regardless of what the market does? And this is where many successful investors separate themselves from everyone else. What successful investors do is, instead of trying to predict the perfect time to buy, they use a simple strategy. They invest consistently every month, whether price is up or whether price is down, whether the news is good, whether the news is bad, they keep buying. This approach is called dollar cost averaging, but in the Nigeria context, let's just say naira cost averaging. Now, don't let the name scare you. It's actually very simple. Let's say you invest 20,000 naira every month in a stock. When prices fall, your 20,000 naira buys more shares. Now, when prices rise, your 20,000 naira buys fewer shares. Now, over time, you avoid the pressure of trying to guess the perfect moment. And trust me, even professionals struggle to predict the perfect moment. Consistency often beats prediction. And then there is one final lesson that many people ignore: dividends. When dividends arrive, many people immediately spend them. Maybe on small expenses, maybe on things they don't even remember buying a month later. But imagine doing something different. Imagine taking every dividend and using it to buy more shares. Then those shares produce more dividend. Then those dividends buy even more shares. That circle may look small at first, but years later, the difference can be massive. This is how snowball starts. It doesn't start with huge amount of money. It doesn't start with the perfect timing, but with consistency. So what's the real takeaway from all this? These four companies are not magic money printers, all right? They are not guaranteed path to becoming rich. But they are businesses operating in sectors that matters deeply in Nigeria, banking, food, energy, and natural resources, which is the kind of sectors that can continue creating value for years if managed properly. The biggest mistake investors make is expecting life-changing results in few months. Meanwhile, the biggest winners usually think in years, not weeks, not months. So if you're serious about building wealth, focus less on finding shortcuts and more on building a repeatable investing habit. Because in the stock market, the people who stay in the game long enough often have the greatest chance of winning. Now, which of these four stocks would you be most comfortable holding for the next 5 years? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, if you're looking to get regular stocks recommendation and stock market tips for both Nigeria and US stocks, I have a Telegram channel where I share frequent market insights to enable you beat the market. So if you're interested, indicate your interest by sending me a mail via the email in the description box of this video.
If you gain value from this video, please like and subscribe so you do not miss my next video. All right. Have a nice day. Bye.